light on or light off? It's a bit dark. Hello guys, you joined me from the floor of my hotel room in New York City. I am very excited to be here. I actually have already uploaded a vlog from my trip. Basically, I'm here solo at the moment, kind of on the way home from a work trip that I was on last week, and I just thought, do you know what? The opportunity of being in the States is too good to miss up an opportunity to stay over in New York, especially because I had a connecting flight here anyway. Like, I also have family friends that live in Manhattan, and yeah, it just all worked out really well. I was kind of like, I could visit them, I can see the place by myself for a little bit, and then I can go home. However, I'm a chatterbox and I like to chat, and I haven't had anyone to chat to all day, so I thought, you know what, I'll chat to you. I asked over on Instagram for some questions, and I really wanted, guys, because it's like getting into evening time, it's like 5 p.m. I wanted to have a little glass of wine whilst we did this. Near impossible to find wine by the bottle in the States. Like, I could have gone to a restaurant and got a glass of wine, but I went to 2 different Targets. But alcohol is just not as easily accessible. Like, you can walk into any old shop in the UK and get a bottle of wine pretty much. And I don't know if it's just the 2 Targets that I tried, but then I thought, if I try a 3rd Target for a bottle of wine, is it looking a bit desperate? I've got a vitamin drink instead. Health is wealth, guys. I thought I'd have this. I'm gonna try these because one of the guys that we met in Detroit was like, oh, if you've never tried a milk dud, you really need to try a milk dud. Totally forgot he'd said it, and then when I saw this in Target, I was like, oh, they're those sweets. So I'm gonna eat these, drink this, and answer your questions. My phone battery dies so quickly these days. I swear Apple do it deliberately. When a new phone comes out, your phone just stops working apparently. I am gonna get the iPhone 14 because I'm literally sucking into their consumer marketing by being like, yeah, my phone's not really working, let me upgrade. I'm gonna do it. Somebody said, how did you feel when you found out you'd be flying to the US to do this trip? Good question. If you didn't see, I have spent the last 10 days in the States now. That's just flat lemonade. Vitamin B and vitamin C though. Oh, I am deficient in like all the vitamins, so that's probably good. I actually got the email about this trip to the States when I was in France with my brother filming the video that we filmed in Carcassonne, where we threw a dart at a map and we ended up in France. In the airport on the way back, I got this email through from the agency representing Visit USA, the brand. I'm really sorry if this isn't focusing. Is that better or worse? Or is that exactly the same? So I was in France, I was in the airport, I got this email come through and I was so excited. But as with anything in this job and in this industry, I never ever let myself get too excited too quickly for fear that it's not gonna happen. Because guys, there are so many things, so many things that just never ever get past the like beginning stages, or like you'll hear about it and then things just don't work out, or like the brand picks somebody else, or the campaign falls through. I never let myself get my hopes up. But with this one I was like, oh, I really hope that does happen. So I was super excited, and then when I found out who was going on the trip, I was super nervous. Like, I just had a massive case of imposter syndrome, and the original list of influencers that I was given that were going was not the same as the ones that went either. So there were like a few alterations made, and like Jess was a very last minute addition to the trip. I'm so glad she did end up coming because I got on with her really well. So yeah, I was just very nervous. I just felt like, what am I doing amongst these people? Like, basically I just have this thing where immediately when I meet people, immediately I'm just my own worst enemy. Like, I'll compare myself all the time, and I just feel like people aren't going to want to talk to me, or people aren't going to like me. And I know it's ridiculous, but it's just a thing, and we all do it. Like, actually no, some people really are very confident. I'm not. However, as soon as I got here, guys, my nerves were put straight at ease. I was just so excited. I just really feel honoured as well that the brand wanted to work with me. Like, mad. And of course, really fun from a travel perspective to get to see 2 states in America that I've never been to before. So that takes my total number of US states up to 4 out of 50. Is it on my list to attempt to go to all 50? I don't think so. That's quite a big aim, but definitely want to get to like 10. So we're at 4. The next question, kind of off the back of that, was how was it spending the week with 2 Love Islanders? And I got this so much, guys. And I know that Kaz and Greg won't mind me answering this because we really did genuinely get on, and I was very nervous to meet them because obviously it was a big case of like, I know them, they don't know me, I've watched them on the telly. But as soon as you get past the like initial conversation, that whole feeling just went away. They were so down to earth, really genuinely kind as well. Like, everywhere we went, Kaz would be like, oh, do they have a vegetarian menu for Molly and stuff? And like she didn't need to do that, you know what I mean? Like, she's just a really lovely person, and Greg was very easy to get on with. And I'm not just saying that, like, if I didn't like them, I just wouldn't have answered this question. So, and I also think you can kind of tell, to be honest, from their like social media and like what they do now, that they're genuinely really just fun and a laugh to be around, and it was a laugh all week. It was chaos, it was a mess, but it was fun. Somebody said top New York City recommendations, which is interesting because I haven't said I'm in New York. I did sort of tease it, but like not really. I haven't online put it anywhere yet, so maybe that's just random. I would say if you've never been to New York before, it's probably the easiest city in the world to plan an itinerary for, because you probably already know it. So like, you don't have to have been to New York to know that there's the Empire State Building, the Rockefeller Center, Times Square, Central Park. Obviously, if you're like a Gossip Girl fan, a Friends fan, like any of those big like sitcoms or movies that are set here, like you will have seen areas that you probably think, oh, I want to visit there. So I would say if you've never been before, go to town with your touristy trip, do the open top buses, do the Brooklyn Bridge, do everything that you just think, yeah, that screams tourist, because everybody in this city is a tourist really. My personal favourite thing to do in New York is actually to go to the theatre. I love Broadway. I think that I just love the theatre. I love the West End as well, but like there's something special about going to a show on Broadway. I've seen Chicago on Broadway, I've seen Aladdin on Broadway. Last night I actually watched Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and tonight I'm going to see Hamilton, which I'm so excited about. So I would say have a little look, scout around. It is expensive, but you can get last minute deals on like a few different online websites where it is a bit cheaper. They're trying to like sell off the last seats kind of thing. I today went to Brooklyn Park, which I've never been to before, but that was a really great view of the skyline from the other side. So I think if you want like a classic New York backdrop where you kind of see the Statue of Liberty as well, Brooklyn Bridge Park, I think it's called, is like a good view for that. And then in literally every city, my favorite thing to do is to explore on foot, because you see so much more of the city. Today I went to Greenwich Village, which I've never been to before because I'm a Taylor Swift fan, and I went to Cornelia Street. But like that was a really cool area. There were a lot of really cool outdoor bars, and like kind of gave me Shoreditch vibes. There's so much going on here. You could spend an entire week here just going to museums. Like there's so much to do. People were asking, do I not feel nervous being here by myself? A little bit. I don't think nervous is the right word. I have my wits about me a lot more than if I was with somebody else, be that my mum, my boyfriend, my friends. I've been to New York before, just me and my mum, and just me and my friends, so like two separate groups of just girls. And obviously you still have to have your wits about you, but I do think there's power in numbers. However, because I sort of feel as though I'm like a bit familiar with the city, I'm trying to just think of it in my head as it's like exactly the same as being in London, and I go to London by myself all the time. So like in terms of the differences, I'm just viewing them as the same. What makes me a little bit more on edge, but just unable to like fully relax, is that I obviously stand out as a tourist, because a lot of the time I'm using my phone to like check the map. I don't really know the way on the underground too well, so I'm like checking all the time, and like I feel as though it sort of singles you out, and it kind of screams to like a local or to like anybody that's maybe watching, oh, she's vulnerable. And that's what I feel a little bit less confident about. But generally it's been really okay. All of the people that I have spoken to have been really lovely, because I was a little bit worried. Like last night I went for dinner completely by myself, but the waitress was fine, and like they get it all the time. I'm not the only person alone in New York. I don't feel unconfident, I just feel a little bit more alert. I also sort of like it. I definitely think it gives me like a sense of confidence, to be honest, traveling solo. I think that these are the things in my life every time I've solo traveled, that when I get home, I think that really helps shape you as a person. That helps your character. You have to be more outgoing, you have to be the one speaking. And even in the moments where I felt a little bit on edge today, I think all of this is kind of helping me become the adult that I am. If that makes sense. I do quite like to just listen to music and like watch people and think and not be talking. I know I said I'm a chatterbox, but like I do quite like to be like observing and just kind of in my own thoughts. And like, as cliche as that sounds, I sort of was vibing, riding the subway, listening to Coney Island by Taylor Swift, thinking not a single person on this train knows me. I don't know a single one of them. I could literally be anybody, and I like that power of anonymity that being in a big city gives you. It's why I love London, why I love New York. I don't want you to be like, oh, why doesn't she want to travel with her boyfriend? Pins and needles in my foot. Ooh, I can't feel my toes. I hope that clears up the slightly bizarre DMs I've had all week. Been like, where's Tom? Why are you away without Tom? Why are you away with the Love Island cast without your boyfriend? And I'm like, I don't know if it was a bit confusing, maybe it was, but I was working with the brand. Didn't just decide to go on a trip without Tom. But yeah, I had quite a few DMs like that, so hopefully that addresses any weird rumours. Should we try these? They don't look like how I expected them to look. They're toffees. Me. That is so sad. Thought they were gonna be like little biscuits. That's like the worst Quality Street in a Quality Street tin. It's the one that's left. It's the one that on New Year's Day just nobody's touched it. Top advice if you're trying new American candy, don't bother. This is okay though. Somebody said, how do you feel about turning 23 soon? It is my birthday, I think maybe next week when this video goes up. How do I feel about it? I think that 23 is the first age where I've kind of just been like it is what it is. Like, I'm really not bothered about my birthday this year, which is so incredibly unlike me. And I don't mean that in a miserable way, but I just think that, like, obviously I turned 22 last year. I celebrated that as like my Taylor Swift birthday. I turned 21 the year before, which was a big birthday, but also sort of not, because it was the pandemic. It was very low-key compared to what I probably would have done turning 21 in a normal circumstance. For that, like, all of those birthdays kind of feel quite exciting, whereas 23 just feels like there's no getting away with it anymore. You're an adult. You are. I am starting to know quite a lot of people that are like getting engaged and having children at 23, and I don't just mean the odd one or two, I mean like a fair amount of people, both in real life and in social media, having babies, and I'm like, ooh, we're at that age. Okay. Personally, I'm definitely not there yet. Love it for Molly May and Tommy, but personally still don't really feel as though I can raise myself, let alone another little human. I would forget about it. I would board the tube and leave it on the tube or something, because I would forget I had it. Like, just not a maternal person. I actually don't think I have a maternal bone in my entire body. Also, how is this off piece so much? Somebody said, how are you feeling about your birthday? Not having a baby. I'm excited. I'm more excited because the night of my birthday, Taylor Swift's bringing an album out. That's genuinely more exciting to me than my birthday. And I have quite big plans coming up next month that you're probably gonna hear about in the next couple of weeks. It's not a marriage or a baby, just to clear that up. But to be honest, my focus is kind of with that, and it just so happens that my birthday is before that. So on the Taylor Swift theme, we couldn't really do this without creeping her in somewhere. So I mean, if you said, how do you feel about the album? I don't even think I need to tell you how I feel about the album. I'm so excited. I don't know when this video is going up. I'm kind of hoping we get a single before it comes out. Like, I really want to like know what the vibe is, because so far I'm just a bit confused. I don't know if it's gonna be like pop rock, indie rock, soft rock, folk. Like, it really could be anything with Taylor Swift. It's always a genre shift, and I don't doubt that it won't sound like anything she's done before, but I have seen that Apple have categorized it into pop, which I'm intrigued. I don't know if it's going to be like similar to 1989 or like 1989 meets folklore, maybe, like that kind of thing. I'm excited and I'm here for all the theories. Another person then asked, I think it was the same person actually, what's your favorite Taylor Swift music video? A really good question. Willow is beautiful. I think the Look What You Made Me Do music video is just the most iconic, to be honest. I think a harder question is what song doesn't have a music video that should, because there are so many. I would love to see like an August Betty music video. There are so many. And that wasn't even the question. Do you not feel homesick? Sorry, my phone is just here. Do you not feel homesick being away from your family quite a lot? Especially because you used to when you were at uni. Fair point. No, I don't feel homesick. I think a lot of the time it's because I'm so busy that I don't really realise that I'm not at home. I think it's been more obvious this week than even when I was like backpacking in Asia, because of the time differences. Like, I don't really know what it is, because I know that time zones work the same way, but I just think being in the US is slightly harder to communicate with the UK, because like from about now, like 5 p.m, everybody's going to bed, so in the evenings there's really nobody to talk to, and it's like, oh well, I've had the bulk of my day, I've been busy, so I've not been on my phone, and now I want to reply but you're all asleep. But generally I don't think I get homesick if I'm happy and if I am busy, and that's the difference between when I was at uni, to be honest, because I wasn't happy and I wasn't busy. I had a lot of time just sitting, and just sitting is lovely if you're happy in your environment, but if you're not, yeah, I think personally for me that's the difference. One more, because then I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go for dinner and then to see Hamilton. So if you want to see what I've been up to in New York, I definitely recommend checking out the vlog if you haven't seen it. The one I'm gonna end on is, somebody said, how does Tom feel about the job that you do? Do you think he's jealous? I mean, good question. I think the good thing about Tom and I's relationship is that he's been with me from pretty much the beginning of this. Like, I met Tom as my channel was like becoming a bit more of a thing, so he's really seen like the growth and the effort and the behind the scenes, and also the transition from hobby to job. Tom has seen all of that, so that's definitely good. Is he jealous? don't think so. I think he loves that I do this as a job, honestly. Like, I don't think it bothers him at all, especially now that we're a bit older and we're not in school, and also especially because it's a bit more understood now and a bit more normalized. Obviously in the groups of friends that we have, like, everybody knows I do this as a job, or I've met them because I do this as a job. I really think that he's fine with it, and I think that he's definitely seen the effort, but also, I don't want to say felt the rewards with me, but like, he's been there for a lot of the good times as well. I don't think it would be possible for him to say that there's not been benefits from it, because there definitely have, and we've done some incredible things together because of this. You know, obviously there is a certain element of, I have a lot more flexibility than anybody that works like a 9-to-5 job, which is kind of what Tom does, and I think he can obviously see the difference in the flexibility of my life and my lifestyle, because more often than not it just means that I'm working like weird hours and like working in the evenings rather than working through the day. So it is swings and roundabouts, but I think that he likes it. I'm gonna end this here. I really had visions of like a cheeky little wine glass in this, but I'm very sorry that that did not come into fruition. We are just not about the sophisticated lifestyle here in New York, because I can't get hold of a bottle of wine for love nor money, so sorry about that. Just me and my vitamin drink instead. But I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope it's just felt like a casual chat with a friend. That's how I'm viewing it, because I really just wanted to talk, to be honest, and have somebody to talk to. And I called my mum, but they were going to bed back home, so I was like, I'll let you go, I'll talk to you instead. Thank you so much for watching. I also want to say a huge thank you. Really want you to know that I don't take it for granted, and I spoke about it a little bit more in my vlog. I'm not trying to plug the vlog, but like, hopefully you already know that that's how I feel. I mean, I am sort of trying to plug the vlog if you want to watch that too. Enjoy your evening or your weekend whenever this goes up, whatever you're up to. I hope you're having a lovely day, and if you're not, I hope tomorrow is better. I'm gonna head off to see Hamilton now, and I am bloody buzzing. If they need me to fill in and stand in for one of the cast, I can do most of the parts, so I'm hoping I get called on stage to play one of the Schuyler sisters.